Welcome back, Shalligators. Oh God, today we're gonna talk about Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck getting divorced. Now, if you remember, which you should because I bring it up constantly, I predicted that they would get together after she jettisoned the boiled hot dog man, Alex Rodriguez, like years ago. And I was like, she's gonna date Ben Affleck. They're gonna get back together because he is a touchstone of the best time in her life. When she was young, fame was still fun and cool. The world was on a string. She was, did I mention young, right? No kids. Like, he is basically a portal to the best time in her life. And guess what? I was right. Because I'm always right. Except about the people that I date. That's another story. That's actually, no, that's not another story. That is, in fact, this story. Because today we're going to talk about what if forever isn't? What if you meet the one and he's not? I'm going through that right now. Right now. Oh my God. We're going to talk about their divorce, what we can learn from this, and basically what we can do to, if we're dealing with the case of meeting someone who we thought truly was going to be our life partner, like the person we've waited for, the person that made all the other heartbreaks and the miserableness worth it and add up to something and mean something, and then it just doesn't work out? Seriously? I'm going to tell you how to deal with this because I am maybe even 1 mile down the road from you, but sometimes that's enough. But before we get started, just an FYI, because I care about you and I care about our country, even though I'm going to be leaving this country in 3 days and going to Italy for our Shalligator getaway. Oh, and by the way, follow along on my Instagram, ShallonXO, if you want some fascinating historical tidbits, because you know I'm such a history nerd and I love to just force this on you. God, poor everyone in my life. I'm also going to be sharing a whole bunch of history videos in the Shallontrage. So go ahead and join me there. You get 5 videos a week plus 25 group chats with girls from around the world. It's the best part of a bestie group chat without the drama. And it's the best part of my YouTube videos with more of my drama. Honestly, with way more of my drama. I do a lot of crying. You're meeting the guy that I'm dating. Also, there's this huge fiasco going on with one of my exes. I cry about that. I've got a great video this week on how to be frightening. It's for our Evil Monday video. And I talk about basically how to make people afraid of you so that you don't ever actually have to be confrontational. They already get out of your way because I am an expert at this and I'll tell you how to do it. Plus, I can give you some dirt on my new TV project. Okay. I care about this country and I care about voting. I am a big voter. I love to vote. I vote. Obviously, we vote for the presidential elections, but it's very, very, very important to stay informed and to vote for local elections. Almost more so because listen, the local people, they affect what happens in your town day to day. Like, when is the trash picked up? Are they putting a high rise right in your path that's blocking the view? Is the water getting polluted? Are they letting homeless encampments flourish out of control? Or are they trying to help those people? It's very important. And I know it's like not as sexy as like wearing the merch and having a bumper sticker, but it is more important. So the way you get involved in voting is you have to first check your voter registration status, which like I never really think about. Go to vote.org. You can check your status. Many states require that you register at least 30 days, sometimes more, before the election. You have to register to vote at least 30 days before an election. But like every state is different. Like in Virginia, there's a 45-day early voting window, but in Kentucky, it's 3 days. Kentucky, I don't know what's going on out there. And honestly, since the last election, there have been a lot of attempts to restrict voter access, like mail-in votes and early voting is being restricted. I travel a lot. I'm not always in town on election day. And like, excuse me, I shouldn't be allowed to vote because God forbid I have to travel for work or go on a vacation. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. There's also all these hinky attempts to close polling locations in heavily populated areas. We've even seen polling locations being removed from college campuses. So that takes care of the youth vote, right? Like they're trying to cut out the voices that matter. And guess what? That's every voice. That's your voice. It's my voice. That's these voices. And that is not democracy. So it's very important that you know about your registration to vote. You know where you can vote and when. Participate to combat the chaos. We can do this. All right. Ben and Jen, geez Louise, talk about chaos. Okay. These two filed for divorce. You know they didn't have, sorry, I'm like sitting on something weird. You know that they didn't have a prenup? Girl. I think we all saw the writing on the wall. We kind of saw the beginning of the end during her documentary, The Greatest Love Story Never Told, which took me a minute to realize she was talking about her and Ben. I'm like, okay. You guys broke up the first time because you couldn't handle the paparazzi attention. You know, like the pressures of fame, you kind of just cracked beneath it, which I don't blame them. But how is that story not being told? How? Okay, and as Ben himself said in that documentary, kind of seems like by doing the documentary, you're telling it. You're telling it. My heart broke for that man when he realized that Jennifer had given the book, like a book of love letters that he had like written to her back in their first romance and kept and like put into this like beautiful romantic book for her. She gave it to the fucking producers. You want to give his prostate results while you're at it? Like, I just, that is such a violation. And listen, you know what? Listen. When you're in love, or even when you're not just in love yet, but when you're like dating someone you're really excited, like you're sending the screenshots. Like I'm dating someone and I'm super into him and he's wonderful. And if you're in the Shallon, you've met him. He's great. But I'm sending my friends the screenshots like, look at what he said. Look at this picture. And like, you just kind of can't help yourself. However, I would think that Jen would have learned a little something about the value of privacy. Not only given the fact that she has already dated this man and he has been extremely vocal about how important privacy is to him, but also by the fact that she's been divorced 10,000 times. Like, girl, clearly this is something that she does not hesitate to do, which tells me she's probably done something along these lines in the past. Has she given love letters to a documentary filmmaker in the past? No, probably not. But I would dare say she has done something that breaches the boundaries and the comfort zones of the people that she's with. Maybe it's a public statement. Maybe it's talking about her friends. Maybe it's dragging their business out in front of company. I don't know. But things like this, they don't happen in a vacuum. You know what I mean? If you're messy like that once, you probably are like this a lot. If you're willing to sell out your husband for a little bit of attention, damn. So when we saw that in the documentary, I think all of us were like, oof. Good luck with that. He just seems so violated and uncomfortable. And you know, I think we lose sight of stuff sometimes because, well, it's happening to a guy and like fuck men, which like is correct. But if the roles were reversed and yeah, say a husband or a guy was sharing like a woman's sharing her nudes, sharing her medical business, like taking a video while she was crying or wasted or something like that, would be like, that's fucking disgusting. That man is disgusting. Like he is supposed to protect her. That's his woman. Like he's just like sharing her business to the world. Is it any better in reverse? You remember what basically broke up Katy Perry and Russell Brand, their marriage? When he tweeted out a picture of her, she'd like just woken up like zits, retainer, like glasses. She looked awful. And he's like, ha ha ha. And then he talked about how I don't say that word. And I was like, what kind of man does this? Well, what kind of woman? But still, I was rooting for them. Here's why I knew they would fail. One of my best friends, Kelly, pointed this out to me. She's like, I am so rooting for their downfall. I was like, no, I love her. And she's like, no, I love her too. That's the thing. This man doesn't want to be happy. Ben does not want to be happy. Every time you look at him, he's just miserable. He's like a petulant teenager. I don't want to do that. How old was he when he got to be famous? 20, 21? Like him and Matt Damon, they were young. They were in their early 20s when Good Will Hunting and all that came out, right? Right? Let's see. Let's take it to ChatGPT. 25. Okay, so he wasn't like super young. But when you think about it, and we talk about this all the time, trauma is fame is a type of trauma, and it can freeze you where you're at. Like, yeah, 25, like you're more or less, basically your frontal lobe is closed, right? However, you think of a 25-year-old man, fucking ungovernable. Ungovernable. I know, because that's typically the age I date. I actually don't. I avoid 25, 26 because of this. I'll go 23, I'll go 29, 25, ugh, because at that age, they think they know everything. You can't tell them nothing. You can't tell them nothing. And if that is where he froze, when the world opened up to him and the world suddenly didn't ask him to change, the world wanted him to dial up whatever he was. Oh, you're so fabulous just the way you are. That can create a monster. I'm not saying Jen isn't one, but Ben has this thing. He's a sad sack. He's an alcoholic and a gambling addict. These people aren't hardwired for happiness. He smokes cigarettes, for God's sakes, and drinks Dunkin' Donuts. Those aren't things you do. They're things you do to yourself. So in that sense, I feel like Jen was always kind of like swimming upstream, trying to get him into a happy, settled relationship. I don't know. But what I do know is that this girl must be devastated. I also know that she could not be handling this divorce worse. I'm sorry, that Bridgerton-themed birthday party, oh my fucking God. What are you for? Is this toddlers and tiaras? I'm a princess. It's my birthday party. That's what it looked like. I saw that. Like, I saw the pictures and I was like, I didn't imagine her daughter would have that kind of birthday party. She doesn't seem to have a gender. And I guess she went with the Bridgerton. She's 16. She's a little old for that. I thought at 16, she's a little old for that. No. It was for her mother, who is 56. Or 55, tomato. That right there, like you're surrounded by gays and princesses. Girl. And then, of course, we had what the Hills star Whitney Port shared, which was that they saw J-Lo in the Hamptons, like faking these paparazzi scenes, going to get ice cream in like these outfits. It's like, how much fucking fame does one person need? I don't get this. And Jen, this behavior, this fame whoring, this like bottomless need for attention is exactly what torpedoed your relationship. Everyone can see that. And you know what? Like I said, I was rooting for her. Like I loved her. I loved her weird rock opera thing because I resonated so much with it. She's a hopeless romantic. So am I. Love addict. I don't know. And I get it. Like I get it. The strength it takes to keep believing in love. But there is also a strength that she must employ to pull back and be like, oof, what am I doing? What mistakes am I making? She doesn't seem to be doing that. She seems to be doubling down on all the things that were the most repellent about the relationship. This pathological narcissism. I'm a princess. This endless need for paparazzi attention. Dude, why? Go to Bali for 3 months. Go to Bali for 3 years and just find yourself, man. Go live on a farm in Tuscany. Like, it's crazy to me that these celebrities, they can do anything. They can go anywhere and they can do anything. And they're like, I'm going to go to the Hamptons where every nightmare garbage person from New York City is congregating. And I'm going to court the paparazzi. What? I'm not famous and I would never do that. Craziness. But yet, my heart breaks for her. It does. Because it was mythology. I mean, what story is better than he was my first love and we got back together? What story do we want more than he came back to me? And all that pain was washed away and all those other things, they faded into the background. And whether that's the person who's come back or whether that's the person you meet, the pain and the disillusionment and the terror that you feel when your soulmate now has air quotes around it. Because they're not your soulmate. Or if they are, they're not with you. And how could they be your soulmate if they're not? That's what people tell you. Well, he's not your soulmate if he's making you miserable. I will never forget this part in the Kardashians when Tristan first cheated on Khloe. I watched this episode. I'm surprised I'm not like banned from watching it because I've like watched it over and over again. It's Khloe's talking to Kourtney and it's all come out. Like all the cheating has come out. And Khloe's like, you know, Tristan's like, you're my soulmate and partner. And Khloe cuts in. She's like, if you're his soulmate and partner, then why on earth is he treating you this way? And Kourtney cuts in and she's like, if I'm your soulmate and partner, then why on earth are you treating me this way? And you're hard pressed to find an answer. You're hard pressed to find an answer. The simplest answer is almost always the right one. And it's like, well, he is in fact treating me this way. And therefore, I cannot reasonably say that this man is my soulmate and partner because, yeah, why on earth would he be treating me that way? But then we think, well, the course of love never ran smooth. You know what? The course of life doesn't run smooth. The course of life, there is going to be exes, ex-baby mamas, moving, jobs that are remote, war, sick parents, sick you, crying babies, broken transmissions. Life is full of ups and downs. The up and down in your life should not be your partner. It's the simplest and most devastating thing in the world. The chaos, the storm, shouldn't be inside. The storm is outside. The storm shouldn't be inside. My back is out of joint even thinking about it. I get it. And you're like the frog in the pot. You know what I mean? Like when you're in these situations, you don't see how bad it is until you're out of it. And listen, if you're finding this video and you're like, well, I'm out of it, but it definitely doesn't seem better. I know. I know. It just seems tragic. It just seems tragic. And then you pull back and you look at the entire rest of life and you're like, what the fuck is all this? And you see tragedy and you see injustice and you see things that don't make any sense. You see them everywhere. And that makes like life intolerable. Yes, I have experience with this. So I'm dating someone now, but for the last, the better part of a year, I was wasting my time with my soulmate. It was not my soulmate. It's not my soulmate. It's not my soulmate. And I believe that I have known him in lifetimes before. And I believe I might encounter him in another lifetime, but at least in this one, nope, that man's not my soulmate. And that tastes like acid coming out of my mouth. Because you know what? When you meet someone who you think is the one, you know what you do? You tell people. You tell people. And you so want it all to be true and to work out. And it's brutal when it isn't, because not only are you bereft, you have lost someone who you loved beyond deeply. And then you have to look around at the people who are like, soulmate, huh? Okay, girl. Listen. Fuck them. With respect, fuck them. And they might be saying that because they love you. And they might be saying that because they saw this man's red flags from the jump and they tried to warn you because they love you. And you know what? That's great. That's beautiful. But with respect, fuck them. You are allowed to say, you know what? I know it didn't work out. I am so aware of that. Actually, Hannah, thank you. I'm like literally so aware of it. You're allowed in your heart, in your mind to say, but when it was good, and maybe it was good most of the time, maybe it was amazing until one day it just wasn't. Maybe it was up and down. Maybe there were only flashes of good. But when it was, I saw it. I felt that thing that people write sonnets about. I saw the matrix. I could see through time and space into this cosmic creature. I saw it. You guys didn't see it. I get it. You weren't there. I was there. I saw it. Because the worst thing about losing your soulmate, and I hate that we're putting it in air quotes, the worst thing about losing your soulmate is the feeling like you were so stupid, like it was a con or it was one-sided and you would have died for this person. And they're like, who? You don't even matter or exist. Let me tell you something. We talk about this a lot. The difference between pain and suffering, okay? Pain is the thing. Pain is the loss. It's getting fired. It's getting betrayed. It's getting dumped. It's getting cheated on. That is pain. And you are allowed to, in fact, you have to feel every inch of that in order to move forward. What you should not do, which you are not supposed to do, and I'm going to say you're not allowed to do it, is add this story on top of it, this value judgment, and this is what it means. No. I thought that man was my soulmate, and he's not. He's just an emotional con artist. He's just a pussy. Actually, he's just afraid, and he's just ordinary at the end of the day, maybe. Okay. Okay, that's the pain. That's the pain, girl. The suffering would be, and everyone saw that but me, because I'm desperate and cringe and you know what? I can't tell a good guy from a bad one. So, hey, maybe next I'll date a serial killer or a mime, because what the fuck is the difference? I don't know. In fact, why date anyone? Because I'm just going to die alone because I'm stupid. No. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. And that is the hard part. Grief is agonizing. But the hard part is resisting the urge to apply that story, is resisting the urge to just beat yourself up. I know. And I look at J-Lo and I wonder what her story of suffering is. I wonder what her fear is telling her. I'm 56. Maybe this is my last chance. Maybe this is it. And maybe I'm too old to be lovable, and maybe I'm too broken to be lovable. And I know that I'm addicted to fame. I know that, actually, and I cannot fix it, okay? It's been here the vast majority of my life. It's been here longer than it hasn't. So I don't know who I am without this pathology, okay? And yeah, what's the point in dating again? Because I'm just going to keep scorching people in some way or another. Why would anyone date me when they could date someone who's just as fame hungry, but she's 25? But it goes to show, if there's a fly in here and I'm going to fucking lose it. I am working right now. I know that means nothing to you because your whole job is mayhem. It just goes to show that these fear stories we tell ourselves when we get dumped or when something falls apart, we think, well, J-Lo wouldn't say that. Margot Robbie would never say that. Courtney, Kim, like, you know, whoever it is you're looking at. And you're like, but they, of course, they have options. Of course, Taylor shouldn't sit around crying about Maddie Healy. Like, of course she shouldn't. Of course she was going to meet someone like Travis. Of course that's who she deserves to date, right? I am different. I am an exception to the rule. I am an exception to the rule, but in a bad way. No, I want you to say it in the opposite way. I'm an exception to the rule, like Taylor and Kim and J-Lo, in the fact that I'm so special. I'm special. I'm a big, bright, shining star, okay? And things will work out for me. As I'm saying this, I am perfectly aware of how silly this sounds when you're in pain. It's like, I'm special. I get it. No, I get it. You're like, whatever. I get it. I get this. I do. I will take your life from you. But I'm going to pass on now a lesson from Laura St. John. She's our mindset coach. She's a manifestation expert. She has changed my life, and she got me over my soulmate. She got me over my soulmate. And I don't know if you guys remember, I hosted a retreat with her at my house in Montana about like 6 weeks ago. And I knew going into it, I was in such a bad place. I was in a very, very bad place. I didn't seem like it, maybe on the outside. My friends were like, you absolutely did. It's fine. But I was reeling from the realization that like my soulmate wasn't. That my soulmate wasn't, you know? And I knew I had to go into that retreat with the goal of resetting. And so she worked with me a lot on the central concept that you need if you are trying to get over your soulmate. Trust. Trust. Trust that this is not the end, that you actually did not come this far to only come this far. That in fact, you not only have the strength to not apply these suffering stories, you're going to fixate on your dreams as hard as maybe the old you would have fixated on the suffering. I want you to over-focus on your dreams. That's what Laura said to me. I want you to over-focus on your dreams instead of your losses. That's how you flip the script. That's how you magnetize the soulmate into your life. That's how that goes. You have to trust the timing. You have to trust the process. And you know what's fucked up is I thought this man, this fake soulmate, was the delivery from the universe. I thought he was everything I deserved for being such a good girl and working so hard. And he made everything make sense. He made everything bad, truly everything bad that's happened to me in my life make sense. And then he didn't. And the loss of faith I had, the loss of trust I had in the universe, and of course in myself, How do you get back up? Girl, you just do. I know. You hyperfixate on those dreams. You acknowledge that you truly are chosen and special. If you don't think love happens for everyone, well, guess the fuck what? It's going to happen for you. It is. It is. And Laura really, really helped me to shift out of bitterness. If you want to join her stuff, there's a link down in my description anyway. And like on Instagram, I have links for her everywhere, but this is like what she specializes in. And it has become what I have started to specialize in my own life is trust. And this is one of her lessons. It was like, you are already demonstrating trust in your life. I was like, no, I'm not. And she's like, do you trust the sun's going to come up tomorrow? I honestly wish it wouldn't. She's like, but it will. I'm like, all right. She's like, now, okay, let's scale it up. Do you trust that your dog loves you? Marginally sometimes, but yes. Do you trust that your friends are your friends? Okay. She's like, all you have to do is start small. It's like these little bitty bite-sized trusts and you scale up. And like if there are some days when the only thing I can trust is like the sun will rise and my dog loves me. Some days it's only the sun, you know? Some days it's only the sun. Some days it's, I trust that I know what I'm doing when I make a YouTube video. I trust that I know what I'm doing when it comes to styling an outfit. Not this one, but you know what I mean? Like look at someplace in your life. And here's how you do it. This is how I'm going to yes and her theories. Look at the parts of your life that feel effortless, where decisions are effortless. Oh yeah, I know that. Nope, not that. Maybe it's getting together with your best friend. It's an effortless decision because you know when you see her, you're going to leave happier. Maybe it's picking your outfit before school or work. I never stress about it because I know I'm going to pick something out and I'm going to like it. Maybe it's talking to a guy at a bar. Maybe it's pitching a new project. Maybe it's picking out art or decorating or planting flowers. Like it, just go to some place in your life where it's, I don't know why the only term I can come up with is lubricated. Sorry. Where decisions are easy. They're smooth. You don't have to think about it. You don't think about it. You choose and you trust. Maybe it's something as simple as, I know I like iced tea. Unsweetened with a slice of orange. That'll change your life. I know exactly what I do and don't like. I know I'm never afraid to get out on the dance floor. I know that I'm fine being sober in a crowd. Okay. You know what that is? That's trust. That's trust. And so where you're at right now, it might be a Herculean effort to be like, I trust I'm going to be my soulmate. Ah, I get it. Believe me. If you're in the Shallon Entourage, you've watched this. You've watched this day by day. tier by tier, like clawing step towards this idea and this self-work. You've watched it day by day, week by week. You don't have to see the end of the road, right? You don't have to see the top of the staircase. You just need to see the first few steps. You just need to focus right now on the things that you know you have faith in. Because what's the whole deal with faith? Yeah, you're walking by faith and not by sight. It's not about proof. Well, show me this Jesus person and then I'll go to church. No. You go to church because you believe. You have faith. You love your dog even though you've never heard him say he loves you back, but you believe it. You see it. You feel it. You invest in that. You pull up for your friends because you have faith, knowledge, belief that they're going to do the same for you. You ask them their opinion because you trust it. Girl, you're there. Like you're there. I'm not there. I'm not there. I'm miserable. Okay. You're allowed to be miserable. 100%. You are not, remember, you are not allowed to tell yourself that this means blah, 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 blah about you, about your future. You know what? Don't even say it means something about him. My friends, when this thing went belly up, and bless their hearts, it was from a good place. They were like all over me being like, I knew it. We never liked him. He did this and he did this. And I'm like, that actually is not helpful. It really makes me feel more stupid. And it makes me want to hate him, and I don't want to hate him. Because then that tells me he's a con artist, and I fell for a hologram of a person, which I don't think I did. I think I fell for someone who was just not all put together in the way that they needed to be to give to a relationship with me. And yeah, I expect a lot from a man in my life, and just a man in my life. What I expect from a soulmate, bro, you don't even know. I expect a lot because I give a lot. So I don't want to vilify this person. I mean, hey, you never know. But when I decided to stop thinking about him and to stop thinking about what it meant for me and my future and my decision-making ability and my red flag meter and what my friend, when I was like, we're going to get down to the basics. I trust myself. Okay, how can I build this? How can I build this? I got very into routines. My daily routine was like, it was bizarre. Like it was almost OCD level. Like I had my lavender latte in the morning. I went to tennis. I put my shoes on, like this one first, then that one. I listened to the same Ariana Grande song in the car. Wait for Your Love. I know. I know. I had my little straw charms. I decorated. And it's like this one for this day of the week. Like I got very hyper-focused on these little controllable, indulgent things in my life because I wanted to demonstrate that I could keep something up, that I had what it takes to focus and to take care of myself. I had to get back to a place where I could trust me, and I found that through routine. I was also going heavy into the mindset coaching. I was doing Laura's lessons. Like I was re-listening to things. I had a whole notebook. I was doing this thing called positive intelligence, which is incredible. It's kind of like real-time meditation, like in the moment, not like, let me go into my cave and zen out. It's like someone screaming at you. You're like, huh. And like you learn these tricks, and it's been amazing. I was working out. I was doing Pilates very religiously. I was cleaning religiously. Well, I was hiring someone to clean religiously, whatever. And it's like that gave me back my sense of accountability to myself. And it started to drown out this idea that I don't know what I'm fucking doing, that I can't trust myself around a pretty face and some nice words and a big bank account. I couldn't trust myself. And so I needed to get back to the me that I could trust. Because when you can trust yourself, well, trusting the world is easy. Because if the world disappoints you, you've got me. And I had the retreat with Laura, and I really focused on letting go of that bitterness and shifting into that trust. And a week later, I meet this amazing person. And I don't know, who knows where it's going to go. For now though, wow. I mean, this man is really blowing me away. And again, you met him in the Shallon Trot. She did a video. I know, like we got a real live boy and we brought him on and he's amazing. You guys all loved him. And like, he's great. And my friends were like, you know, you got really hurt by the wolf. Like, let's not put all our eggs in one basket. And I said, true. Okay. Here's the thing though. With the wolf, I knew that, the ex. But the other basket I put my eggs into were other guys. They were other guys. I like left at one point and dated someone else and I met someone when I was in London and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you didn't know that, did you, dude? I did. And I was having my feelers out all the time as other optionality, right? Now, the other basket is me. I don't need to be for the streets. I don't need to be, oh, what's on Bumble and Tinder? I'm banned from both those sites anyway. Doesn't matter. But like, I don't need to hedge my bets with other people. I hedge my bets. I protect myself by going back into my routines, by going back into my mindset work, my meditations, my workout routines, my lavender lattes, my Ariana Grande. Like I go back to me. And I look at that situation with the ex and how fucking devastated I was. And I look at how I behave now with Ryan. And like, I'm so much more centered and I'm less reactive because I'm in the other basket. I'm in the me basket. And I think maybe that's why that whole thing had to happen. Maybe it did. Maybe that's why. Is because I had to go through that pain because I had to develop those coping mechanisms in a truly healthy way. I had to be like, all right, I'm not going to go out and like pick some other 22-year-old like I normally would. You know, the ex wasn't 22. He was like a full-grown man. A lot of good that did me. But I didn't do that. I wasn't up to my old tricks. I didn't get on a plane and flee. I changed it. I changed how I dealt with it. I changed how I trusted. I focused my energy on developing that. And I don't know. I think that that's serving me really well in this new relationship. I mean, I feel so different. And a lot of the same issues come up because that's dating, that's people, that's life. And I am shocked. Like, I'm dissociating in these moments when I'm like, oh, me from 6 months ago would not have reacted like that. I would have been like, I would have been in the notes app. You know, you're in the deranged notes app. Yeah, it's like 85,000 words. You know what I did one time? I sent a text, like I wrote a text and I sent it to ChatGPT. I was like, can you make this meaner? And it did. And I just wrote back meaner, like to make it worse and worse and worse. And I sent its like fourth meanest version, which was like ballistic, crazy level. That was me 6 months ago. That's not me now. I already know how to be mean. I'm just kidding. So listen, I'm saying this because where you're at right now, you might not yet know why this had to happen. You might not yet know. Someone or something that we think is a destination, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's just a rest stop. And who the hell wants to stay at a rest stop? You go, you pee, you get something out of the vending machine. Like, let's get back on the road. This place is weird. This guy over there, it's weird. He's got a yo-yo. Like, you keep it moving. You keep it moving. Even though you're tired, you keep it moving. You might not know why this had to happen, but let me tell you something. And this is something Laura taught me. Just deciding that there will be a thing that makes all this worth it, just having that faith and that trust, that is the win. Let me say this again. Just deciding to trust that something better is out there is the win. It is the win. From a mindset and manifestation point of view, you are not going to let the blessings in if you're all blocked with bitterness. I know, because that's typically my default setting. It is the number one thing I battle is bitterness. I'm very entitled. I think I deserve everything. And when I don't get it, I'm extremely nettled, very vexed. I don't like it at all. But when you're like, okay, listen, I don't know. I can't see the top of the staircase. I can only see this patch of stairs and The climb is difficult, but I'm just going to trust that there is something up there. I'm going to trust it. That's the win. That's when the blessings open up. That's when bitterness heads out the door. That's when the suffering, gone. You don't need to tell yourself, well, this means something bad for me. You already told yourself, this might mean something good for me. Well, what is it? Okay, what's the point of telling you something bad? Well, so that I don't do it again. Just don't do it again. There's a way to learn without beating yourself up, isn't there? I mean, have you not been to school or a class where you just learned something and someone wasn't beating you with a ruler to get you to learn it? Of course, of course. Don't tell yourself that you're like an animal and you have to be hit in order to understand something. No, you don't. No, you fucking don't. If you're going to tell yourself something that you're like, I don't know if this is real or not, why not make it good? Why not make it good? Because you think you don't deserve it? Well, listen. Like I said, I'm an entitled person. I think I'm the smartest person in the world. Guess what? I decide that you do. I've decided. This is my world. I'm a narcissist. I decide things. I decide that you actually do deserve to be happy and you do deserve good things. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I've already spoken on this. So yeah. No, my mind is unmovable. I will not change my mind. You do deserve amazing, wonderful things. So don't at me about this. Don't at me and tell me that you don't. I'm going to block you. I'll block you if you try to say you don't. So you know what, girl? Just try it. Go back to the tiny things. The sun's going to come up. God's on the throne. That dog tolerates me. That dog tolerates, the cat tolerates me. The dog loves me. Go back to what you can trust. Focus in on that. Build on that. Yes, and that with one new thing you can trust every day. Write it down. Look at it every single day. And pretty soon, you're going to have a list of like 300 things. You're like, oh yeah. And then you are going to have a pretty hard time looking around and being like, well, but nope. You won't even be walking just by faith. You actually will be walking by sight because your vision will be attuned to all of these incredible things in your life that are already there. Let me know what you guys have to say. Don't forget, go to vote.org and see if you're registered to vote, right? Go to the Shallontourage to join and be friends with me, hundreds of girls around the world, tons of videos a week, lots of really deep dive advice, and yeah, meet my boyfriend. And if you want some more intel on Laura's coaching and teaching, there's a bunch of ways to get involved. She has a free week course just to like see what it's all about. Links are down there. You can save money with my code. And yeah, I'll see you later, Shallon.